In this video, I'm going to list out the exact skill stack that will position you to be able to generate 7 figures very predictably going into 2026. I'm going to do everything I can to prove to you that making a ton of money is not luck, but rather that it is a set of skills, a layer of skills that you can learn. The same way you must master dribbling and shooting and passing in basketball, there is a layered skill set that when you get good at these things in business, it becomes very hard for you to make anything less than multi 6 figures in online income. This is the stuff that would have made me some $10 million richer had I known this 5 years ago. That's not an exaggeration. A lot of people work hard, but have you ever wondered why only some folks get lucky? Have you ever wondered why these kids you see online who are clearly less talented than you are able to hit these 50K or 100K months? It doesn't matter if they're selling courses or not. Let's put that aside for a second. Let's strip that away just for a second. Who cares if they are or not? Let's strip that away for a second and dissect the skill set here, because they're doing it somehow, some way. So the question is, how are they doing this? How are all these people on the internet making so much money? How? And how are they able to do it over and over and over again? How are your favorite internet entrepreneurs literally printing money? How are they doing it? Well, I'm making this video because the people who have cracked the code seem to want to gatekeep what it is that you actually need to be focusing on and working hard at. So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to expose all this, because these are the things that when I learned and got good at, they quadrupled my income. They multiplied my income by a factor of who knows what. So I'm going to expose all of this. I'm going to show you the exact things you need to learn. I'm going to show you the exact things you need to read up on and get good at. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you and list out for you the micro skill sets that all these guys are good at. And when they got good at, it becomes almost impossible to not make a ton of money on the internet. There are certain skill sets. Like when you master dribbling in basketball, and then you master shooting, and then you master passing, you become an all-around brilliant player. There are micro skill sets, a list of micro skill sets that I'm just going to expose and list out for you, so that you can become a lethal weapon of a marketer, and so that making money becomes nothing more than a game to you. This is fun for me. This is very repeatable for me. This is the 3rd time I'm making a significant amount of money on the internet. The 3rd business in a row. If you've been on the channel for a while, you know all this already. Well, anyway, so now why do I care to reveal this to you? Why am I about to reveal this to you? What's the catch here? What's the secret? Is there some sort of financial incentive for me here? I'm recording this on Saturday, October 4th, 2025. I'm just going to leave this here before we begin. If I can be the one to show you that it is a science, that making money on the internet, a significant amount of it, is a science, meaning that it's repeatable. There's a formula to it that you can insert yourself into. If I can be the one to show you that becoming a 6 or 7 figure earner or a 6 or 7 figure marketer is systematic, if I can be the one to show you that, well, then I've just set you up for life. I've given you direction. I've planted the seeds in your mind for you to dominate. And then when you achieve these results, whether or not it's with me, side by side with you, just that word of mouth alone around my name is worth its weight in gold. This is how business works. Everybody who is monumentally successful is very much a donator or giver to society anyway. That needs no further explanation. Let's begin. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Pablo. I'm an online entrepreneur currently scaling VinceScale, my AI marketing agency, to 7 figures in real time, with daily documentation on this channel. We currently generate over $250,000 a month in deal flow for ourselves and our clients. I work with businesses doing over $1 million a year in revenue, helping them scale with AI cold email and helping them design and convert premium offers. As always, you can get this document for free. The link is in the description. It will add you to my newsletter. I will not spam you. I will send you some free tips and notes throughout the week with some stuff that will make you richer. I make no income claims. My results are not typical. Now let's begin. Here's a skill stack. So this is how you create and repeat success very quickly. You will need to be decent, at least decent, at all of these. Just like you have to be somewhat decent at dribbling a basketball, or you have to have a decent level of handles to be in the NBA. You have to be somewhat decent at all these things, okay? However, you will get rich, whatever you deem to be rich. You will get rich being in the top 0.01% in one of these. So think basketball. Stephen Curry has really good handles, really good passing ability, really good communication skills, really good footwork, but he is in the top 0.0000001% at shooting the basketball. He has a specialty. Marketing, same thing applies. And guys like Alex Hormozy or Russell Brunson are like the LeBron James of marketing. They're good at everything. The Michael Jordans of marketing. All right, so if you happen to be good at all five of these, or not all five, there's more than five, but if you happen to be good at all these things, or rather, if you work at being good at all of these things, well, then you have results that reflect that. But you can also just be decent at these things and really hone in on one of these things, okay? So I've sectioned this into a couple of different major categories, but first thing is you need to know how to let people know, like you need to know how to get traffic. It's nothing to, like, it doesn't matter if you have a literal Bitcoin for sale. How do you let the world know you exist? That's a skill. And there are different ways to approach that. Traffic. You need to be good at generating traffic. You need to get good at this. Luckily, there are skills to be able to allow you to do this. Okay, so you can do this by reaching out to people, meaning you go to them outbound, or you have them come to you, which is inbound. All right, a lot of you guys are familiar with inbound marketing. This is what this is right here. This YouTube video is a form of inbound marketing. You searched something up, or you happen to be scrolling on YouTube and you saw my video. You clicked on me. I didn't go knocking at your door or sending you a DM. You found me. You came into my world. You came into my zone. You came to me. That's inbound. Okay. Outbound is if I had sent you an email, for example, or I sent you a DM, or I cold called you. That's outbound. Simple. Cool. All right. So again, you'll make more money if you get good at a lot of these, and you don't have to get good at all of these at the same time. This took me a lot of years to learn, and there's a couple of these that I'm still very novice at. There's a few of these that I'm in the top 0.01% at. But in terms of an outbound skill set, you got about three options here. We're not considering ads. You got maybe two options here. You have cold email. You have cold calling. Cold email overlaps very well with DM strategy and LinkedIn strategy and so on and so forth. Okay. Overlaps very well. But the major one here is cold calling, and the other major one here is cold emailing. So cold calling and cold emailing, you can make millions of dollars just getting good at one of those and ignoring everything else we're about to say in the rest of the video. All right. So you will never go broke if you have something you can sell. You just model someone else's offer, or model someone else's service. You don't have to reinvent the wheel at any point in time here. That's where beginners get stuck, is they think they have to have something novel. I do cold email. That's been around since the late 90s, I believe, or the early 2000s. I make email money. Like this is like the most boring thing in the world, but the boring things make the most money, you will find. Look at Cole Gordon. They do, I don't know, some $5-10 million a month. Someone fact check me, but multiple millions of dollars a month just doing cold calling. So just just pick one of these and get good at it. Okay? If you have nothing but time on your hands and you have no money, cold call. If you have a few $100s in your pocket, cold email. Cool. You got to get good at one of these. I picked cold email. I came on this rather late in my life, but I realized I needed a way to let people know that I exist without depending on going viral. I didn't want to have to post. And this is why part of what burnt me out of my last business. I didn't want to have to depend on posting every day. I don't have to do this YouTube thing every day. I can be just fine. I can stop at any time. I'll be just fine. I do this because I want to accelerate the rate at which I hit these different income milestones. That's why I'm doing multiple of these things at the same time. It's just multiple client acquisition strategies. That's it. That's all it is. There's no magic behind it. So I didn't want to have to depend on posting every day. So that's what outbound is for, is you go to them. This is like the traditional form of this is door to door. printing flyers is content marketing. Anyway, so content marketing, think of this like what we're doing now, right? So long form, this can be YouTube, this can be podcasts. The most lucrative one is by far is YouTube because it builds trust. So long form, and then also short form content, okay? Now this overlaps with copywriting, which we'll talk about in a second, but there's a way I've been able to, like, there's a reason why I go viral and can go viral over and over and over again. I don't know, I haven't even checked my TikTok. It has, I don't know how many tens of thousands of followers, and I don't even post on the thing. That's an afterthought for me. Right, look at Alex Hormozy goes viral once a day. Like there's a formula to this, especially when you layer copywriting with content marketing. But anyway, so long form and short form. So this is Instagram, this is TikTok, this is YouTube Shorts. Okay, if I needed to make 20K a month in like the next 45 days, it would be a combination of short form and cold email. I mean, that's exactly what I did in my last business. Like that's just out there. That's a known thing. That's exactly what I did. In that exact time frame, I just was posting 5 short form pieces of content a day, and like it's almost impossible for you to not go viral in like 2 to 3 weeks. So that's what I did, and then I just sold something on the back end, and just sold like a high ticket service. That's it. Boom. Okay, there's your 20K a month. All right, so stop restricting. Humble yourself a little bit. Humble yourself just a little bit and try some of these things, okay? So that's the outbound skill set, and then there's content marketing as well. So I really am neglecting short form right now. I'll get to there when I get there, when I hire a bigger team and they help me with fulfillment and stuff like that. But right now I'm focused on long form, very intentionally so, just because I have a personal vendetta. I have a personal goal, not a vendetta, but a goal. That I'm working at. So cold email, long form, and then I'll hire some clippers or something like that to help me with the short form. Okay, I'm not worried about this stuff. This is top of funnel stuff. I'm not worried about this. I'm not. Long form is better for middle funnel, which is a fancy way of saying building trust. Okay. I should also put in here. I'll put this in down here. Newsletter, which is audience nurturing. Okay, so I would highly so you're going to need one of these things. Ideally, you have both. Okay, so I'm going to put number 1 here is outbound. Number 2 here is content marketing. So I'm going to say inbound, which is really content marketing. And this is crucial going into 2026. Don't say I didn't warn you. A lot of you guys don't want to post content. That's okay, but I'm just saying, when you start to question how these other kids, these weirdos on the internet, are making so much money, I'm telling you what they're doing. I'm telling you. It's just the things that you might not want to do, but I'm telling you exactly what they're doing. Or they get good at one of these things, like they crush it in cold email. They just spam a bunch of cold email. They spam a bunch of cold calls. Outbound is just a volume game. That's it. I'm gonna write that down for you. Okay, it's just volume. Just do more than anybody else. Volume. Just do that. All right, just do more, and then they make a bunch of money doing one of these things, or just posting short form content, whatever it is, and then they hire someone on Upwork or something like that to do the next part, to do the other thing, and so they increase their income that way. It's not that complicated, guy. I'm telling you what they're doing because I'm doing it myself and because I studied them. Okay, I'm pulling the curtain on all this for you. It's not that hard. It's just what I did between my last business and this business was I took a good month off and really went knee deep into like I was studying like 16 hours a day on a lot of this stuff. This is what it is. Like you can get good, right? You can increase your experience points in these different levels, in these different areas, and then you become like a level 10 marketer, a level 20 marketer, a level 99 marketer, and then you just keep beating the game. It's just sort of how you naturally just make more money in the game, in the video game, because you're just a higher level. That's the exact same way this stuff works. It's the exact same way, right? I play a little game with my YouTube videos sometimes just to see if I can beat my view score or like my retention score. And it's really just copywriting with the YouTube titles. My thumbnails are dog poo. But there's a lot of copywriting tactic and strategy that goes into the titles, for example, or the intros of these videos, for example, when I care to do it, of course. But like, it's just like playing a sport. It's like you have these little micro skills, again, like dribbling, like your footwork, like your handles, like your passing. These are little things that you have to work at. Take a week, get good at this. Take another week, get good at that. Take another week, get good at that, and then rotate and repeat. That's it. Just get good at business. Get good at business by getting good at these micro skills. Okay, so that's traffic, outbound and inbound. That's all you need to know. Outbound and inbound. That's all you need to know. Okay. In this channel, we talk a lot about cold email, outbound. Why? Because I know a lot of you guys, a lot of the folks I work with are very discreet. A lot of the founders and owners that I work with are very discreet. They make a lot of money, for instance, and they don't want to put themselves out there. That's okay. I respect that. So now we have to really refine that outbound client acquisition channel, which in my case is cold email. You don't have to be a master copywriter to be good at cold email. Cold email is more about the offer end, which we're about to talk about, and targeting. Copywriting comes almost last. Okay, cool. All right. Now let's talk about, so that's traffic. Now you can let people know that you exist. So if you have a Lamborghini for sale, you couldn't sell that unless people knew that you had it for sale. This is how you reach out to people. With outbound, you can do this rather anonymously, if that's your thing. Okay. Cold email, you can be pretty much you can be anonymous. All right, cool. Product and inbound too. You can do the YouTube automation, but that's not my department. I don't know about that. The thing about, again, inbound is you have to give it some time. SEO as well. How did I forget that? SEO still matters. I can't believe I almost forgot that. SEO is huge because YouTube ties into SEO. That's why I love YouTube. It just keeps working for you and it compounds. Anyway, making a YouTube channel is one of the best things I did for this business. Arguably the top two. And I wish I had done it sooner. I would have been way richer a lot sooner. So that's traffic. Product and offer design. So knowing how to design a good product. Like I'm working on Spectre right now, for example. It's a private mentorship program and coaching program. Knowing how to design a good experience for people, a good product for people, but also knowing how to design a good offer, right? And so what happens is a lot of these kids are good. I say kids, my audience isn't kids. A lot of these folks, at least the majority of my audience, I don't think is kids. I don't know. I haven't looked at the analytics much. Anyway, a lot of these folks on the internet can get a lot of attention, but then they don't, like, they sell people on something, but the product isn't good. And so they get this, it's a bad reputation, or they fall off very quickly, or they get called a scammer, or whatever it is, right? And so you have to get good, like, you have to care. You have to care about people and their experience and if they get results or not. You have to. That's the only way you stay relevant. And so that's why you see all, like, the gurus and stuff, like, they either remake a new webinar or they remake a new product every 6 months. It's because it isn't good, or because they haven't optimized the funnel, which we'll talk about in a second. Or you see all these guys, like, they have to keep reinventing themselves. Is because, you know, the product isn't great. So you have to, like, if the product is great, it will last longer than it should, or longer than if it's not great. So, and then offer design is you have to design the offer, like, you know, things like pricing and is it done for you, done with you, blah, blah, blah. You gotta learn that stuff. So what you do is you go, first off, you model what works. And then second, what you're going to do is read the best book on offers and product design, which is $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. There aren't a lot of novel concepts in there, but the way he explains it and articulates it is genius. And he's the best marketer of our time. Yeah, he's like, him and Russell Brunson are like 1A, 1B, depending on who you ask. All right. So just copy what works. Just copy an offer that already works. Don't reinvent anything. Copy the pricing of what already works. And that's just what you do. Okay. You shouldn't be inventing a new offer, a new business. None of us are Nikola Tesla. Cool. So that's traffic, We covered product and offer design. It's very important that you create good products and good client experiences for people so that they can speak good about you. Because if you don't have any, like, how you beat out your competition is by having more case studies and testimonials than them. If anything else, like your funnel can be more optimized. You can be good at getting traffic, but if you don't provide a good experience or a good offer, we all know how this turns out. We all know the coaches and the gurus and whatever who get clowned on the internet when things come out. It's because the offer and the product is not good. So design something worth people's time. Cool. Now, sales. You have to get good at sales. There's no way around this. There's no way around this. So in terms of sales, there are a bunch of different micro skills, but actual sales itself, getting on sales calls and closing people, okay? Alex Hormozi has like a 4-hour course. That would be great for most of you. 4-hour Alex Hormozi course. It's free. It's just a free video on the internet. I believe it's 4 hours. It's 2 or 4 hours, one of those. Free YouTube course. I'm writing this down for you guys. And then also, if you want like a good book, Spin Selling is the only book you really need on sales. But really, you get good at sales by watching other people handle sales calls. That's the best way to do it. Okay, so those would be the resources. Get good at sales. It's going to take you a few hundred calls, or maybe a few dozen calls to get good enough at sales. I got good at sales very quickly because, as a lot of you know, I worked at a staffing and recruitment agency, which is really, it's people sales, it's employee sales. And so I was making like 100, not like 100. I was making north of 100 cold calls a day. So I was selling all the time. All right. So now sales is stupid easy for me. So if you're cold calling, I mean, you can get good at sales too. But anyway, at the same time. But anyway, sales, you got to get good at sales. You should just be watching random videos on this stuff in your free time. If you're not making the kind of money you want to. Yeah, I'm not. Just being honest. So I just randomly watch this stuff. Okay, it's just like putting up shots. So it's just like being in the gym. It's like watching game film. That's what we're doing here. So sales. Get good at sales. Get good at sales. I should be able to hire you and say, hey, I'll give you 10% of whatever I sell. So if I sell a $10,000 offer, you get $1,000 every time you close. You'd be printing money working with me. You just got to know how to sell. And I can give you a script, but like, you got to know how a general sales call works. A half-hour Google Meets sales call. You got to know how this stuff works. You got to know your closes and stuff like that. You got to get good at this stuff. It's a skill. It's like basketball. You got to know how to do a layup. You got to know how to do a sales close. Okay? You got to know how to start a sales call, just like you got to know how to, run a pick and roll in basketball. It's just little skills. All right? Let's get good at the sport. You got to care. Next, sales. Copywriting. Copywriting is under sales. Copywriting makes you lethal at a lot of things. Copywriting has generated me a lot of money. Copywriting falls into cold email. It also falls into the YouTube titles I put up. It falls into how I start these videos and title these documents. It's all, this is all a direct result of copywriting. My VSL converts very well. My VSL is a direct result of copywriting. The TikTok, my TikTok, I don't post on TikTok anymore. Or Instagram Reels, like, the title of those, like the little banner I put, that's copywriting. I purposely choose the words that I put on there to get people to stop and watch. And that's how I go viral so often, how I generate views so quickly. It's copywriting. You want to get good at copywriting, read this book right here. Take their money. You can also watch a lot of my videos as well. I'm that dude when it comes to copywriting. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but this is what it is. All right. Copywriting. Take their money. Copywriting will take you a long way. I wouldn't go in the direction of being like a full-time copywriter. I wouldn't do that. I would use this just as just having this as a skill set in something like cold email, for example, because this is also going to count when you start running ads. That's why you want to do copywriting. Okay, every dangerous, lethal marketer has copywriting under their belt. This is like dribbling a basketball. This is the handles right here, copywriting. This is like the thing you need, especially on the internet. Cool. Next, funnels. So you need to know what funnels are and how they work. You need to know the different funnels that are out there. You need to know that stuff and be able to speak to it more than you need to actually be an expert at building funnels, because you have software like ClickFunnels and Go High Level and stuff. You just need to know how they work. You need to be familiar with them. You need to have heard about them. You need to know how you get put into this funnel and how they operate and how they all fit together and how they make money. Right? So get familiar with webinar funnels, get familiar with call funnels. No need to actually build them out. Like I said, you just have to understand how they work, because what's going to happen is you're going to get good at, let's just say you start posting content on TikTok and one of yours goes viral. What do you do with all these people? How do you get them on a sales call to the point where they want to buy with you and they're not skeptical? Well, you need to put them through a funnel, like an email sequence and stuff like that. You got to educate them a little bit. You got to understand how people's mood changes and how their minds open up. Between seeing you in TikTok and getting you on a phone call, and funnels take someone from skeptical to buyer ready. You need to know how to systematically take someone from skeptical to wanting to pay you and being willing to work with you. You can systematically get them there every single time, which means you systematically get them to want to pay you every single time over a certain period of time. That is a system. Tying back into the title of our video, this is how, the premise of our video today in this file. This is how you systematically generate the multi 6 figures and then the 7 figures you want. You got to know this stuff. So what you do is you read up on Russell Brunson's stuff. Okay, read up on Russell Brunson's stuff. So .com Secrets is a good book. A lot of you guys ask me for books. .com Secrets, Expert Secrets. Just watch Russell Brunson's webinars. The Perfect Webinar. All these kids doing webinars nowadays, they got it from Russell Brunson. The Perfect Webinar. They also got it from Jason Fladlien, who is like the king of webinars. He designed Iman Ghazi's big webinar that he just threw up with the digital products, the AI digital products, whatever that was. Alex Hormozi's $100 million, actually all 2 or 3 of Alex Hormozi's book launches. Jason Fladlien either wrote that webinar or had a part to play in it. So you just got to know how this stuff works. Okay, that's it. Call funnels. So you got to know how this stuff works. You just got to see how it fits together. Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, you have to be able to speak to this. Next, VSLs. You don't have to be a master at this. You just have to know what they are, how they work, what purpose they serve, and then just go. And then from there, just don't reinvent a VSL. Just copy the one that you like. Just copy one that works. That's it. I copied my VSL from who knows who. I'm making new VSLs all the time. Just copy it. That's it. You don't reinvent any of this stuff, okay? You don't reinvent webinars or nothing. Just copy it. Just copy, okay? Ads. Now, ads is like, you can get a whole degree in ads, but ads gets really simple once you are good at copywriting and once you are good at content marketing. So content marketing would be the creatives piece, all right? So your TikToks and your Instagrams, if your organic content does well, you can honestly just run it as an ad. But you need to understand how ads work and the economics behind them and the different terminology. So, return on ads, ROAS, right? CAC. You got to understand these terms, right? Cost of client acquisition, client acquisition cost, excuse me. All these different terms. You got to know them. Okay. So, whether it's Facebook ads or YouTube ads, this will come later, but this is a skill that you need to get good at, because at a certain point in time, you're going to consider running ads. Okay. Now, some honorable mentions and enhancers. So communication. Part of the reason why people do well quickly is because they can communicate well. So you got to learn how to speak somewhat well enough, okay? I'm sure a lot of you do, but to be able to articulate yourself. So the number one way you are judged, my father told me this, is by the way you communicate. And it's always proven to be true. Always. If you want to get really good at communicating and speaking, you don't have to be like a Martin Luther King level speaker. But the way you get good at this is by listening to people who communicate in the way that you like. Listen to their videos, listen to their podcasts. Some more enhancers. So spotting new markets is also a skill. This means you always need to be studying new markets. And you'll see this with the gurus. They'll always be in the hot space. They'll always be in like the AI space. I sniped AI too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I intentionally combined AI and cold email. People who do e-com intentionally combining AI and e-com. Iman Gadzhi intentionally going to AI, right? Like these guys are intentionally moving into the white hot space, intentionally spotting the new market. If it can get people results, why not? If it can get you results, why not? You always have to be where the money's at. That we're here to make money, are we not? Okay, cool. So I'd be misleading you if I told you otherwise. This is how people do it over and over again. This is how people stay relevant and stay in the money. And stay getting money. It's because they stay where the money is. Another skill is hiring. You gotta know when to hire people and put your ego and pride to the side and hire people. This is one thing I regret not doing sooner, is hiring people. A players. Hiring is a skill in itself. Don't hire your friends. Just gonna leave it there. Hire people. You'll find some of the greatest people on Twitter or on Upwork. Next, newsletters. This is really just another way of audience nurturing. Newsletters isn't so much a skill, but audience nurturing is. This really means just not forcing things down their throats, okay? Honorable mention as well as general business acumen. So the terminology we're talking about, capital, operating expenses, fixed costs, variable costs, things like that, funnels, like all these things are just general business acumen, cash flow, deal flow. And you learn this just by listening to people talk about this long enough, okay? So now, how do you master these? Like anything, studying game film, reading, and reps. Okay, I've been doing VSLs, for example, for a long time. I've been making ads for a long time. I've been doing sales for a very long time, copywriting for a long time, right? Making YouTube videos. I've had a bunch of different channels and most of them didn't work. I also lacked the maturity I have now. Okay, and notice what's not mentioned in this list. Websites, logo design, editing videos, websites. My website, it looks like a whiteboard. It's so bare bones. You guys have seen it. Vintascale.com. It's nothing fancy, but it converts well because it has just what it needs. You don't need to make things pretty. You just need to get things done. Logo design, nobody cares about that. Editing videos, unless you are a content marketing agency, nobody needs their videos edited. Okay, look at my videos. They convert rather well. I get clients from these videos. All right, that Mr. Beast stuff, there's a section for it, but it's not in the there's a place for it, but it's not here. All right, so I'm gonna end the video there. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. Otherwise, see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.